Get ready for a journey into the world of mysterious artifacts that defy the limits of our imagination. Out-of-place artifacts inspire wild speculation. Were our ancestors more advanced than thought? Is time travel real? Join us as we discover 8 incredible finds that shine a new light on the past. Are you ready for this exciting adventure? Then let's get started. The WOLFSEGGER iron. Also known as the Salzburg cube, the WOLFSEGGER iron embodies a small cuboid-shaped mass that was recovered in 1885 in its namesake town of Wolfsegg am Hastruck in Austria. Once the peculiar something had been freed from the surrounding lignite, the discoverers were able to get a closer look at its unusual shape. While 4 sides of the object appear approximately flat, the other 2 exhibit an outwardly curved shape. In view of the fact that that apparently worked piece of iron was discovered in a 20-million-year-old coal seam, the assumption quickly arose that we are dealing with a classic out-of-place artifact of extraterrestrial origin. And indeed, scientists initially also assumed that it was a meteorite fragment, a thesis, however, that was not to stand up to later investigation. It is most likely the WOLFSEGG iron is a piece of cast iron that was used as ballast for mining machines. The LANZHOU stone. It is the year 2002 when a Chinese collector named Ziling Wang records a discovery near the Marzong Mountains that is both puzzling and exciting. A strange stone that concealed inside it a metal rod with a screwed thread. However, this strange inclusion was by no means the only unusual detail with which the so-called LANZHOU stone attracted attention. Thus, a more exact analysis came to the conclusion that we have to do here with a completely unknown rock type. Consequently, the assumption is obvious that the roots of the object lie in the gigantic widths of the universe. But if it is really the fragment of a meteorite, what is it then with the artificial screw? Well, this is unfortunately a question to which the experts still today, more than 20 years after the discovery, owe us a clear answer. At this point, however, it should be mentioned that many researchers regard the supposed sensational discovery with great skepticism. In their opinion, the structure looks like an unspectacular solidified tar ball with a screw in it, which is why further scientific investigation would be categorically unnecessary. Unbreakable alien ring? Some time ago, a sensational report surfaced on the web with the headline, "Strange Geode." Within geology and mineralogy, this term refers to a, quote, bubble cavity of an effusive rock that may be filled with crystals, end quote. In the text, we read that the amateur geologist named Mike Walters recently recorded an unusual find. First, Mike explains how geodes are generally formed, most commonly when gas bubbles form in cooling ash layers. Accordingly, the bubble would effectively freeze as the silica-rich ash or dust hardens. Again, this is a process that can be estimated to take thousands or even millions of years. Mike goes on to report that he has found and opened thousands of such geodes as part of his hobby. As a rule, breathtaking crystal and mineral deposits would lie dormant inside these objects. So he was all the more surprised when he tracked down a structure he had never seen before, a geode that contained a piece of polished metal inside. To open the stones, Mike used a special cutting disc. But when he tried to cut the geode as well, the tool jammed and suddenly didn't advance a millimeter. So he had no choice but to cut around the geode, eventually hitting the sturdy metal ring inside. To fully expose the strange something, he used sulfuric acid. And while the geode dissolved completely as a result, the artifact didn't take a scratch. Mike concludes his report by saying that he will ask a doctor friend to take some x-rays of the find. But how the story ended is unknown. No further reports of the mysterious geode can be found. PALUXY River footprints. A quick search shows dinosaurs became extinct about 65 million years ago, while Homo sapiens entered the terrestrial stage about 300,000 years ago. Now, you really don't have to be a math genius to realize that man and the ancient dinosaurs could never have met. But then, what's with the story of the mysterious footprints discovered at the beginning of the 20th century on the PALUXY River in Texas? Officially, the age of the tracks is dated to 115 to 105 million years ago, and they were left by predatory dinosaurs with 3 toes and sauropods. What's special, amidst the assemblage, there is also an imprint that clearly resembles that of a human. But how is this possible at all? The official explanation points out that such a phenomenon is quite known. If the three-toed dinosaur had not pressed in its edge toe clearly enough, it seems as if it would have to do it here with the footprint of a human being. However, the supporters of creationism are not fobbed off quite so easily. Briefly to the memory, these are those persons who believe that the human being was created exactly in such a way as it is written in the holy writings of the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims. Consequently, the theory of evolution is categorically rejected. For the advocates of this conviction, the Paluxy River footprints embody thus the clear proof that the fact that humans and the dinosaurs very well ran over each other, and that the evolution theory is therefore wrong. In the ranks of the remaining scientists, such interpretations are considered, however, as not tenable. Mysterious cubes. Some time ago, an amateur magnet fisherman and his two sons went to the River Sow in the English West Midlands to find out what exciting secrets the body of water might be hiding. However, it wasn't long before the trio tracked down a series of strange cubes in the shallow water that didn't seem to fit the scene at all. 60 small cubes of lead adorned with Sanskrit inscriptions. Soon after, an eminent Sanskrit teacher from India was able to help reveal the contents of the strange finds. According to him, they are, quote, mystical diagrams that serve to channel cosmic forces and keep the powers of destructive planets at bay. However, one question remains. What are dice, with the ancient language of Hinduism, doing in a riverbed in England anyway? Roman dodecahedron. To find out what the background of an artifact is all about, it would be good to know what it is actually about. In the case of the Roman dodecahedron, however, this basic mystery has still not been cracked. What is certain is that the structures have 12 faces, are sometimes made of bronze, have holes of various sizes, and are adorned with knob-like protrusions. At least the researchers could already uncover a clear pattern concerning the places of discovery. So far, the artifacts were traced exclusively in those Roman settlements which were inhabited before by the Celts. When it comes to the question of the intended use, however, the theories are as numerous as they are varied. It is conceivable that we are dealing with astronomical instruments, candlesticks, scepter knobs, or knitting tools. Dorchester pot. In 1851, when some workers were performing routine blasting on a cliff face in Dorchester, Massachusetts, they were astonished. For indeed, not only debris and dust flew toward the men at that time, but also a vase-like metal object that had apparently been lying dormant deep in the rock. The subsequent investigation revealed that the object, which had been split in two during the explosion, had been located at a depth of more than 3 meters. However, against the background that the rock in question has an age of up to 593 million years, the incident seems all the more puzzling. Thus, it comes that some persons regard the Dorchester pot as proof that mankind by no means produced the first advanced civilization on our blue home planet. However, this is opposed by the explanations of the mainstream scientists. According to them, the ominous vessel would be nothing more than a typical candlestick from the Victorian era. The Bay of Jars. It is the year 1982 when the American marine archaeologist Robert Marks goes to the Brazilian Banana Bay to search for unknown traces from the past. What he would ultimately discover immediately made major headlines, a series of heavily dented yet intact clay vessels that Marks clearly identified as Roman amphorae. These vessels were used by the Romans, especially in long sea voyages, and have often been unearthed during the exploration of ancient wrecks. But how can it be that the artifacts turned up off the coast of Brazil of all places? Does this mean that the Romans succeeded in opening up the so-called New World some 3,200 years before the Portuguese? Unfortunately, Marks was unable to follow up on this red-hot lead. In an interview with the New York Times, he later stated that the Brazilian government put a stop to all subsequent investigations. So folks, and now it's your turn. What do you think about the discoveries presented? Should we take them as a reason to rethink the official historiography? Or can their backgrounds be explained in another way? We are looking forward to your comments. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons to never miss another one of our videos. And with that, thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.